Are you wanting to see more engagement, which means comments, likes, saves, shares, all of those things on your Instagram content? We're talking reels, photo posts, stories, how to make your content more engaging, right? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Exactly what are the strategies and things you can think about when it comes to having more engaging content that you are sharing on your Instagram account. These are real things that I think actually matter when it comes to making your content more engaging. And even one thing at the very end that I think doesn't matter as much as a lot of you probably think. The first thing that I want to talk about is how you can capture and keep their attention. Okay, so thinking about this concept when we are creating content, especially when we are in the actual creating phase of making content, is super important. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, first of all, how can I capture their attention? This typically means at the beginning of a piece of content, how am I capturing their attention where they want to continue to watch or engage with the content? So this means that the first story slide in a set of stories, make sure it's a super engaging story slide. It makes them actually want to tap through the rest of your stories. Or if it's the first 3 seconds of a reel, make sure that it's super engaging and catches their attention right off the bat. This can also relate to captions. The first sentence that people see of your caption is how they're deciding whether they want to tap on that more button to read the entire caption. So make sure it's super engaging, right? Make sure it catches their attention. Make sure it's grabbing their attention. Some of my favorite ways to do this is simply calling out who they are. If I'm speaking to photographers, calling out, hey photographers. If I am speaking to coaches, say, hey coaches, here's something you need to know. Saying who they are can be really helpful. You can also throw out a common misconception and then you're breaking the misconception. You can call out something that be a little spicy in your industry and a hot take. There's a lot of things you can do with this. And it's really just something that catches their curiosity and makes them want to open up that more. Okay, and then we're talking about keeping their attention. There's a few things that I think are really helpful to keep in mind as just good practices when you are creating content. So for example, with stories, I'm thinking about how I can make my stories throughout the day super engaging and people wanting to tap through them. Instead of just posting graphic story slides all day long and doing 15 of those in a row, I am mixing it up, whether it is topics, things that I'm sharing my day-to-day life, as well as business education. I am sharing face to camera and then maybe a graphic and then maybe a boomerang. Switching that up quite a bit helps to make your stories more engaging for people to want to tap through and or not listen, but it could be listen if it's a video, but watch and consume more of your stories. On a reel, this really looks like not leaving any dead space in your reel. So what do I mean by this? So basically any opportunity that somebody could take to swipe off of a reel and go on to another reel. When you are doing a face to camera reel, you don't want to leave any empty spots in between when you are saying one sentence and the other. You want to keep it pretty compact. And I like to think about the 4-second rule. So making sure that text boxes, different types of videos, I typically don't have them on the screen for longer than 4 seconds, especially if it's a storytelling reel or I'm giving some sort of educational advice by sharing different types of video clips or text boxes. I am making sure that I'm keeping those short and succinct so that they don't have an opportunity to want to swipe on, right? They want to keep watching and listening and consuming the content because it's really interesting and there's not all that dead space in between. Another strategy that really does work super well when increasing engagement and making your content more engaging is to simply change up the type of content you are creating. So I say this because it might not totally make sense, but hear me out. We get lots of questions from a lot of you guys asking my engagement's taking, or I can't get my engagement to be higher, my engagement's really low, what's happening, what's not working. And half the time when we go to your account, you are creating the exact same type of content over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And so what I want to encourage you here is to think about how you can experiment and try different things. And maybe you've only done lip sync reels and you've done that for your last 20 reels that you have posted. Maybe it's time to change it up and do some more stock footage reels or face to camera reels or jump on other type of trends, right? And not always be doing lip sync reels. Or maybe you always sit up in the exact same location, you wear the exact same outfit. Maybe it's time to think about how can I switch it up to make it a little bit more interesting? Maybe even in between different takes, how I can change my angle to make it interesting. So just think about how you can change up the type of content you are creating. You can also relate this to not only the visual format of the content I was just talking about, you can also relate it to the topics you were talking about. So maybe the topics that you are talking about within your niche just aren't interesting enough, right? Like maybe they aren't something that actually captures your ideal followers' attention. And so something you can do too is kind of go back to the drawing board of who your ideal client is, which is the same thing as your ideal follower, right? Because if you're trying to grow a brand on Instagram, you're a business. So thinking about it as your ideal client is super helpful. Essentially thinking about what are their pain points, what are their problems, what are the things that they're experiencing, what are the solutions that I provide, what are the things that they value, how can I come in and help break those misconceptions, educate them, give them something that's going to be really valuable, give them a quick win, right? And so think about those things and things that you can share in that realm. And if you need help brainstorming outside of that, I know for me, like it's really helpful when I can just get simply like a journal or a notepad and just brainstorm in there. If you're kind of coming at a loss for ideas, you can also do some ideal client research and get one-on-one with an ideal client, or search in like Facebook groups that your ideal client hangs out in and stuff like that, and get an idea of what are the things that they're asking. And if you need exact ideas on what to post for the next 30 days on our Instagram in order to attract your ideal follower, we actually have a brand new free Instagram class all about what to post for the next 30 days and how to gain a highly engaged following and increase your engagement. And we talk a lot about what are the right ideas you should be posting and all of those different things. So if you want to join that class, it's completely free. We'll put a link in the description. It's a 1-hour class, so it's a little more in depth than you'll get in a YouTube video. And I think you'll find it really, really helpful when it comes to what you should be posting on your Instagram. All right, the third thing when it comes to increasing engagement on your content is to foster a loyal following. So you might also be thinking, well, how is that actually going to increase engagement on my content? But in the long run, it's going to, because if you have people who are genuinely interested in you, your content, and want to engage with your content because you've done a good job of engaging them on your brand, with your brand and on your account, they're going to engage with future content. They're much more likely to engage with future content, and maybe even not just like the content, but comment and save it and share it and all of those things. And so when we're thinking about increasing engagement in our content, it's also really important to keep in mind, how can we engage the followers we currently have and build that loyal community of people who are excited for us, who are cheering for us, who are excited to be following our brand and super in tune with the things that we post. And overall, in the long run, building that community is going to increase engagement on your content, because you're simply gonna have more people who are excited to engage. And numbers don't matter here. Like, you could have a smaller following and have a higher engaged community and see really high engagement on your content without having to have more followers. A few things to keep in mind when it comes to building this community. Number one, think about how you can make your content bingeable. So if someone sees one piece of content, they're probably gonna like other pieces of content, and basically have a niche, keep a theme, right? And have things kind of I was gonna say intersect, but I don't think that's the right word. It's like have things connect to each other and things make sense for the content you're creating and not have it be too all over the place. Also, engage back with your audience, right? Like actually respond to their comments and DMs, and make sure you're making it a priority in your daily Instagram rhythms to respond back to them. They don't wanna feel like they're talking to a brick wall. And one of the easiest, fastest ways to build an engaged community is to simply respond back to them and make that a priority. And lastly here, be sure to be posting consistently over the long run, okay? So I'm a huge fan, and I talk a lot about, like, you don't have to post every day on Instagram to see growth. I certainly don't. I've never really gone through a phase where I've posted every single day of the week. I've always made it a priority to take 1 or 2 days off of Instagram every single week. And so nothing says you have to post every day, but it does mean if you want to grow and you want to build that community, you need to be consistent, right? Like you need to be posting consistently and like actually show up for your people. And that's gonna look so different for every person on what your capacity is, what your goals are on Instagram, and just so many other factors. And we actually talk more about that in that free Instagram class. So if you haven't joined already, be sure to join because I think you'll really love it. But just thinking about how you can show up consistently for your people, whether it's in stories every day and then feed posts and sharing that new content to almost build that like, know, and trust factor with your audience. And if this video has been really helpful for you so far, I'd love it if you could hit the like button. That'd be super helpful in getting this video out to more people, and subscribe for new videos every single Tuesday. And now let's go on to the last couple of thoughts that I have here. And then the next thing, when it comes to deciding how to increase engagement on your content, is to simply look at what's working or what has worked well in the past, right? This means taking a look at your insights and your analytics, looking at, is it a certain topic, a certain type of reel? Is it a certain video that I posted? And obviously you can't just take one video that did well and think that's the key to making all of your content go viral, right? Now obviously viral isn't everything. And you know, if one video didn't do as well, it doesn't mean that you should abandon that strategy forever or that type of content forever. It's gonna take you, you know, maybe sharing a B-roll footage reel like 5 different times to really see how it's resonating and to really see how it's working, right? Or maybe you're creating B-roll footage reels, but you're just filming the wrong type of B-roll and it doesn't really make sense for your niche. And so think about the, you know, visual format of the content, what's working well on your account. Look at the topics, the things that you are sharing. Look at, like I mentioned, like even just the different types of videos, and start noticing. Is it when you are doing a certain task? Is it when you are talking about a certain thing? Is it when you are doing lip syncs? Maybe you really nail those lip syncs and it just resonates well with your audience and you're able to put a good spin on it for your niche. Making sure that you're taking a look at your insights. I really recommend you do this like once a month. It's really helpful to just take a deep dive and see what's working on your Instagram and what is performing well on your account, not only with views, but also look at engagement, like comments and likes, saves, shares, and making sure you're keeping that in mind as well, because views definitely don't equate to higher engagement. And then I just wanted to throw in a quick bonus tip here when it comes to increase engagement on your content, because another question we get a lot is how to increase your video quality, and like on specifically on reels and stories. And I think the underlying question people are asking that is, I think my quality is bad and that's the reason my content is not performing. And the reality is you could have the best visual quality. You could have 4K video quality on your reels, and it doesn't mean your reels are going to perform any better than they do when you film them on your phone. Yes, quality can be a great tool to just increase the visual interest in your reels and in your videos that you are creating, but it's not everything. And I truly do believe that what the content entails and what you are saying in the content, what you are sharing, the messaging of the content matters way more in how your content is going to perform than video quality. So just making sure you're keeping that in mind so that when it comes to creating content, that, you know, if you want to go the extra effort and you have the capacity to create like higher quality and have a great camera and film it outside of your phone and like upload it or things like that, totally go for it. But for the majority of us, we probably don't have the capacity to do that, right? And that's totally okay. And so I just want to give you permission and just almost like a, hey, like don't stress about this, that quality isn't everything. And there are really simple things you can do to up your quality, like have natural lighting and make sure you have the right Instagram settings, right? To make sure that you are maximizing the quality you do have on your phone. But at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot we can do. Instagram's going to compress video quality anyway. And I don't want you to stress about it. And I want you to know that is totally normal. And for most of us, we're going to see our reels perform just as well if they're not like top-notch quality. If you have any questions, we are here for you guys. Please leave a comment down below. And we have that free Instagram class. If you're watching this before March 30th of 2023, it's actually going to be live on March 30th, March 31st, and April 1st of 2023. We have dates on all of the, or times on all of those dates. And so if you want to hang out with us live, it will be like a live recording. I will be sitting here at my desk live and recording it. If it is after those dates, we will have a on-demand replay available. So be sure to head to that link down below, whether it's before or after, so you can head on into that class and sign up. We would absolutely love to have you join us. And as always, we upload new videos on this YouTube channel every Tuesday. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Stephanie, and we upload videos surrounding content creation, business education, growing your brand online. Every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern is when a new video drops. So be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on every new video, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.